Once again, it's on. I had to come back one more time. I was sitting on my balcony. I was like, wait a minute. I just posted a video earlier. I was like, hold up. That was Philippians 4:13, where they talk about. I said Philippians 4:11 as far as my verses, where it says, "I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me." Philippians 4:11 actually says, if I can find it, just give me 1 second, folks. Well, basically says, "For I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content." Um, I guess that's what you get for freestyling these verses. Pardon me, let me show my camera out a little bit. That's what you get when you freestyle verses. You know, like I said, my heart's in the right place. Um, but I had to come back one more time. I said, wait a minute, that's not Philippians 4:11. That's Philippians 4:13, where it says, "I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me." But I said, you know what? On a lighter note, I want y'all to get a chance to chime in and talk about sports and video games. Things I haven't touched on yet, like hip hop as well, even R&B, because R&B in this era sucks. You know what I mean? R&B in the 90s was where it was at. And it's funny. I thought they messed with Cheese. I was young. I couldn't appreciate it. I was just coming of age, talking to girls and stuff like that. But R&B in the 90s was where it was at, man. Yeah, SWV. You had Mary J. Blige. You had Faith Evans. You still had New Edition. You had Jodeci. I know I'm forgetting some groups, man. I can't think of the name of that group. They did the "Let's Get Married" joint. Dang on it, man. But it was so many groups that did great R&B music. But like, I just give you a quick example. Like, I just off the top of my dome, like my hip hop top five. Like, I would say, it's almost like you got to break it down in different categories, because you can't do one thing. Because if you want to talk about impact, I've always said Tupac. I've always said that no rapper had a greater impact than him. But with that said, if you want to talk about things from a lyrical standpoint, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like, my top five, I put KRS One, number one. Like, just the love of the game, the essence, the rawness, the battle, the wit, the lyrics. Like, man, I got KRS One is like number one. Number two, I got Rakim. Like, Rakim, he changed the game. You know what I mean? But some people don't like the slow flow, or the syllabalistic. Some people, it's not for everybody. So I almost want to put him in number one, because he literally changed the style of how dudes rap. Because everybody was like yelling and basically like the Run DMC style, the Furious Five style. Like, Rakim came in and was like just melancholic, slow flow, lyrical. He kind of changed it. So I got KRS One number one. I got Rakim number two. I got LL Cool J number three. Folks be sleeping on LL, man. Like, they got to give him his props, man. People keep talking Jay-Z for his longevity and all this. Man, no rapper has had more longevity than LL, man. And like, I know people like, man, he be doing stuff for the ladies, and what I mean, rapper like that. Yeah, he do. The ladies feel you can't control the way you look. The ladies like the way you look. That's cool. I just know when it's time to turn the heat up and bring that fire. LL, he with the best of them now. He with the best of them, and he been doing it like since for a minute. Um, whew, what's that? One, two, three, four. Oh man, that's tough. That's tough. Four. Four is where I'm gonna have to put Tupac. I'm gonna have to say Tupac, because, like, you want to talk about somebody that was ahead of his time. You want to talk about somebody that literally could touch on any subject matter and be effective with it. Like, he was there, and folks be they They forget when it's time to battle, or he could battle too, because people get caught up in different stages. Like, oh man, they think about Digital Underground Pac, or when he was, jumping around with Tretch and all that stuff, and or they go caught up in the Death Row Pac. But Pac was the one MC that got better. Most dudes, they came in the game, they was hungry. You know what I mean? They had that fire to them, that passion to them. But then as time went on, the albums went on, they lost that passion, they lost that fire. And they were like, it didn't hit the same. Pac literally was getting better. When you go from Tupacalypse now, Strictly for My Niggas, Thug Life, Me Against the World, which is my personal favorite album, All Eyes on Me, and Machiavelli. Like he was bringing it. Number 5 for me. For number 5, I gotta put Kool G Rap. People be giving props to Biggie. No disrespect, Biggie was a beast. Like, I mean, his flow, like it was an effortless flow with the music. And again, even though Pac's my personal favorite MC, I don't forget, I'm from the East Coast, from DC. And other than NY, Big used to give a lot of props to DC. So much love to him, man, and his family. But with that said, he only did 2 albums. Like the body of work is not there. You know what I mean? You can't just leapfrog everybody else because you feeling ready to die that much, or you feeling life after death. Even though he jocked Pac, because Pac was the first one that came out with All Eyes on Me, which was the double album. So with that said, number 5, Kool G Rap, y'all. He fathered a whole lot of these MCs, especially from the East, with that mafioso stuff. Kool G Rap started that. Whether you want to talk about Nas, whether you want to talk about the Notorious Big, whether you want to talk about Raekwon and Ghostface, Big Pun, the dude that started that mess was Kool G Rap. Go back and listen to him, man. I almost want to rank him high, man. Kool G don't get enough love, man. His flow was insane, man. Like, yeah. So that's my top 5, like, for hip hop. Like, I got KRS-One, the love of the game, first and foremost. The embodiment of the essence of hip hop itself. Like, if hip hop was embodied in a human being, to me, it would be KRS-One. Like, just the passion, the intensity after all these years, the longevity, the lyrics. Do you want to battle? Do you want to have fun with this? Like, no matter what you come with, KRS-One is right there. Like for real. That's why I got KRS-One number 1. It's ironic, KRS-One. Number 2, like I said, Rakim. Rakim changed the game. Like, people was rapping one way. Rakim came out, people start rapping another way. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Props to Rakim Allah, man. Guess who's back? Much love to him, man. And Eric B too. And you got to pay homage to the because when you building something, whether you're talking about sports, hip hop, all that stuff, it's like you got to lay a foundation. You got to lay a foundation. It's like these are the facts these little youngins don't talk about when they be thinking about, oh man, these dudes in the NBA, they doing all this and that. They wouldn't be doing all this and that if they didn't get the formula from the dudes back then. Like when they talk about Kyrie. Kyrie got that mess from Rod Strickland. And he got that and Cole. You know what I mean? And Cole got that from Mike. And Mike got that from David Thompson. They talk about Dr. J, but if you were a student of the game, and I'm digressing too much. Let me get back to hip hop. I said number 3, LL. I'm bad. Yeah. I'm looking for a tall, light-skinned ninja with dimples. I can relate. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, LL, his longevity. You know what I'm saying? Like his impact. Like he was the first real, if you want to talk about superstar in hip hop, like Cool J was that first one. You know, where it's like you could market this dude. I know people get caught up in the business aspect and marketing and stuff like that, but that showmanship is a part of the game. He can't control the way he look. If the ladies love him, the ladies love him. You know what I mean? But the brother was not soft. A big dude, man. A lot of people don't know. You meet him in real life, that brother like 6'4", like 260. He ain't no chump, yo. And like he can battle with the best of them. He proved it. You know, man, from Mo D to Ice-T to Canibus. I know people talk about the Canibus joint and respect the Canibus because I love second round knockout too. I do. But I mean, you see, like he got him with a little nice body blow, but it didn't stop LL. I know part of it is what they call that, who you know and marketing and stuff like that, but it didn't change as far as his appeal and the brothers that respect him, you know, low key. Go back and look. And he's still flowing to this day. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm not even going to talk about respect him on the fitness aspect, too. There's a lot of brothers, they get older, they let themselves go. LL, like he can step in the ring and go like 15 rounds, you know? Respect to him, man. I'm inspired by these dudes, man. So, yeah, I got Cool J at number 3. And it's funny, too. People, one more thing I'm going to say about Cool J. Like, people talk about GOAT this and GOAT that. Y'all know who started that GOAT stuff, right? Man, that was Cool J that started that. All this, I'm the GOAT and all this other crap, even though I'm going to touch on that from a spiritual standpoint about like how that's symbolic for something else. But I knew what Cool J meant when he was talking about that, about greatest of all time. Like he has an argument. He definitely has an argument. This is my personal opinion as far as my sci-fi. And like I said, number 4, I got Tupac. That's me, my personal favorite. That's my personal favorite MC. You know what I mean? And people, oh, Pac, y'all call, oh, Hennessy, enemies. Man, go back and listen to that man's catalog, man. Go back and listen to Machiavelli. Listen to some of his unreleased stuff. You know what I mean? Stop listening to the radio stuff. Because there's a reason why, to this day, you want to talk about somebody that was ahead of his time? When nobody rocking tattoos in 96. That was Pac. If you want to talk about the image. When Biggie said that line, actor needs chiropractor for crack jaw. Now everybody's trying to act. Pac was doing that in the 90s. You want to talk, like I said, somebody that was ahead of his time. Like completely ahead of his time. And like I said, when you talk about impact, I know people get caught up with lyrics. Y'all get mixed up lyrics with wordplay. When people say, oh, Biggie was better lyrically. No, Biggie had better wordplay. Pac was better lyrically. Lyrically is what you're saying. What are you actually saying? And Pac had a message for the masses. Universe, that's why people love him worldwide. Pac had that message that was worldwide. Biggie had that wordplay to where you put a beat on, he go off the top of the dome, and it's almost like he's slow dancing with the beat. It's like he's right there. Yeah? It's just the flow was effortless. I'm not trying to disrespect Big. I'm not. It's just like how you gonna put 2 albums against 5, 6 albums, huh? And as far as the impact, not to mention Biggie got in the game because of Pac. You know what I mean? That was like his big brother. That was his big little brother. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, to me, as far as impact, no MC outside of Rakim had a greater impact on hip hop than Tupac Shakur, man. As far as what you want to talk about, look, what do you want to talk about? Just the passion, the intensity, and what he was actually talking about. Because it wasn't just thug life. People forget his family was a family of the Panthers. You know, the political aspect. He actually cared about the community. One of my favorite songs is off his last album, Machiavelli, Hold Your Head. Listen to that song. Listen to White Man's World. And tell me this was just some studio dude. Nah, he wasn't. He was way more important than that. And, you know, the reason why some of these people were taken out, I'm going to say that subject for a later date. But, yeah, number 4, Most definitely Pac. I want to put him number one off some bias, but I'm keeping him straight hip hop. So I got Pac at number 4. Then, like I said, number 5, the cool genius of rap. Cool G rap. People need to go back and study, man. Like I said, all the East Coast mafioso and all this stuff that y'all love, y'all Biggie fans, y'all Big Pun fans, y'all rock with. I rock with Nas too. You know what I mean? Wu Tang, I rock with them too. I'm gonna do my top 5 albums later. But Cool G Rap is the father to that. He's the father of that. Listen to him and tell me you don't hear Big Pun. Listen to him and tell me you don't hear Biggie or you don't hear Nas or you don't hear Raekwon and Ghost. G Rap was doing that in the late 80s, early 90s. I'll do the rest of my tops in later. You know what I mean? My NBA top 5. This will get funny. My NBA top 5, I put number 1. Come on now. Jordan. All these people screaming Kobe, and Kobe's my personal favorite. You know what I mean? Y'all got that crap in the Dave Chappelle skit. In the 90s, you know what people saying on the court? It was like Jordan. Yeah. Your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, your favorite baller's favorite baller. My favorite baller is Kobe. His favorite baller was Mike. You know what I mean? When I take flight, like who kid, like Mike. You know what I mean? Like that whole, yeah. Jordan, man. Like, again, I go to the impact. Like people want to talk about numbers and talk about stats. You know what I mean? And that's great. But I'm a student of the game. I first started watching basketball in 88, 89. I was in D.C., little black and white 13-inch TV, first team I saw. Again, I mentioned on my first video, I said it was, I saw Isaiah Thomas in the Pistons. So I wasn't a fan of Mike. I couldn't stand the people, oh, you glazing Mike Young. I couldn't stand that dude. My favorite players back then, like I like Barkley. You know what I mean? I like Reggie Miller. I like Starks. I like the people that were the antagonists, not the protagonist. I like the antagonist. So if everybody's going right, I'm going left, and vice versa. Mike earned my respect when he came back in '95 at the baseball, and his father tragically getting murdered, and he lost to the Magic. And people were saying that, you know, this dude, I think his Mike is done. Ain't no air to him no more and all this other stuff. And he came back in '96 with the Vengeance, came back with the patent leather joints. And it's funny, I was the first dude around my way that had the Jordan 11 patent leathers in '95. I got a friend of mine that can vouch that. Shout out to my boy Rick. You know what I mean? He could tell you. You know what I mean? It was 2 dudes that had the little the patent leather 11s. And I was the first one around my way that had them joints. You know, I was living in Heather Hills and Central Hills. I purposely wore them joints to the court so folks could see, you know what I mean, that, you know, I had them joints. But yeah, that's when I started rocking with Mike. I saying, oh man, this dude, he really wants this. He really loves the game. And like I said, they went 72-10. And they ended up winning the chip. They swept Orlando. The same team that beat them came back, swept them Bams. You know what I mean? Everybody to this day, before when he first came in, it was all about the big man. It was all about, okay, we can't win a ring without a great center. He was, he got his joint from Dr. J. Yeah, Dr. J, other than like probably the ABA, he didn't win a championship in the NBA till they got Moses Malone. So they were under that impression you could be a great athlete and bring, you know, fans in the seats, but you're not going to win it all unless you got a big man. Mike shattered that. And I remember the narrative about him. Yeah, he's a great player. He's exciting to watch, great athlete. But guys like that, you can't build a championship team around guys like that don't win championships. That's why he was crying when he won that first ring. But I told you, I ain't started rocking with Mike till '96. But like I said, holler at me when your favorite guy, 3-peats, retires, does a whole different sport, changes conditioning. come back, three-peat again. I'm not even going to talk about the 10 scoring titles compared to your favorite guy's one scoring title. I'm not going to talk about him winning. Yeah, let's talk about it. Defensive Player of the Year. Wow. Winning the scoring title. Wow. Winning the league MVP. Wow. Winning a slam dunk contest. You know, something that your guy's scared to do. Did all that. He won every title but win a championship in the same year. Yeah, he did that. 6-0. You know, he ain't winning the 80s. Man, he ain't had nobody in the 80s. That playoff record stands to this day. That's from the 80s. You know, that 63 points he dropped on the Celtics. And a lot of people, when they talk about greatest teams all the time, that's one of the teams they mention is the 86 Celtics. So Mike dropped 63 on them in the playoffs when it counts. And that record stands to this day. Number one, Jordan. Straight up what you heard. Number two is when it gets tough. But I'm going to keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real, yo. I'm going to go with the eye test, man. I go back and forth with this. Number two, I got Kobe Bryant, man. Straight up. I used to say Kareem, but again, we talking about impact. One thing I say about Kobe, and this is why I modeled myself after what I'm trying to do, nobody, and that's including Mike, had a better work ethic than Kobe Bean Bryant. Nobody putting in work. Y'all talking about your guy winning the gold medal. Them Bammers ain't win nothing until Kobe got on that scene in 08. That redeemed team crap. Dwayne Wade is a jealous Bammer. And LeBron is an insecure chump. Cole said, look, I'm going to team up with y'all dogs. I'm tired of y'all dogs losing, man. Let me show y'all how to do this, son. Yeah, I got Cole, man. You know the guy y'all try to act like is a sidekick? Even though Shaq ain't win jack without him. If he, and there's no disrespect to Shaq, because the Diesel was a man. When people be gassing up LeBron, they be talking about, oh, he's the greatest athlete. Man, the most impressive dude I saw in my lifetime where I was like, whoa, it's something different. I ain't never seen this before. When I first saw Shaq, when he was tearing them backboards down in 93, I was like, wait a minute. I ain't never seen this dude's kind of scary. Yeah, guess what? That guy ain't win nothing till he teamed up with Kobe. That kid, it was something different about him, man. He wanted it. That's why Mike took him under his wing. He said it was annoying, like he's an annoying little brother, this dude bugging me, trying to sound like me, trying to talk like me. And like I said again, like Mike, when Cole first came in the league, I wasn't a fan of his. He said, this nigga, he trying to sound like Mike, trying to walk like Mike. Like, dog, you ain't Mike, yeah? You ain't done nothing. I said, this dude is arrogant and all stuff, but you know what? He believed in himself. I've been mistaken for the same thing in the past, different locations. People used to think, you know, different. I say that for later, but, you know, different jobs I've worked and, you know, some of them, I don't know. You said before I started talking to you, I thought you was arrogant and all this other stuff. But nah, it's more or less being that outsider and believing in yourself and not putting nobody on a pedestal over you. You know, I can definitely relate to that. You know, he grew up in Italy. You know, all these, you know, he didn't speak that language. He's a different dude. He come back to America. He's from Europe. You know what I'm saying? It was a disconnect there. But the whole time it was a fire, it was an intensity, and it was a work ethic in the Mamba that no one else had. Don't believe me? Watch Allen Iverson's interviews about him. Watch what AI says about him. AI ain't got no reason to gas him up. You know what I mean? He went to wars with him too. But AI knew. Like he said, killers respect killers. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the reason why somebody like MJ took him under his wing, because after a while, he said, you know what? This dude actually wants it. I see that. Kind of reminds me of myself. He wants it like I did once upon a time. Let me give him a little tools and stuff like that. Let me see how bad he really wants. Remember that? 5 of them things. Your favorite baller still ain't got to this day. Bama's jumping team to team, all that stuff. He stood there the whole time, weathered the storm. Said, nah, yo, you know what I mean? Oh, the big man, that's his team. I bet. You know what I mean? Y'all make a decision. Y'all gonna roll with the big man or y'all gonna go with me? They went with him. He weathered the storm, battled it out, took Pau Gasol, elevated him to be a Hall of Famer and a perennial All-Star. Because Pau Gasol wasn't like that at first. He was a solid player, don't get me wrong. He had the potential. But he wasn't that, you know what I mean? I seen that Dwayne Wade interview, man. That dude is jealous. And I'm not going to talk about him with some of the stuff he's done with his family. I'm going to say that for another day. You know? He's a disgrace. What Kobe did with Gasol is the same thing that Jordan did with Scottie Pippen. Took him under his wing and brought him to another level because he's seen the potential in him. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I got the Mamba number 2. Number 3, woo, man, this is tough. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna go in a different direction. Number 3, I got Wilt Chamberlain. Folks don't study the game like that. When I first started watching basketball, no one was saying Kareem was the greatest basketball player of all time. No one was saying that. I remember before Mike won his, when he had won 2, this was around 92, 93. I was still like a teenager, a little younger. And I remember it was like this, I forgot the name of the magazine. I think it was Sporting News or something like that. It wasn't Sports Illustrated. But my step-pops was subscribed to it, and I remember the cover of it. And it had Wilt Chamberlain in black and white in the background, like with his hands up. And like Mike was going up. It was like Wilt was kind of blocking his shot. And that's when it was like, is Michael Jordan the greatest of all time? And that was the first time they started mentioning it around 93. Because the guy they considered the greatest basketball player of all time before Mike emerged was Wilt Chamberlain, as far as his sheer dominance. And I remember when Wilt met Mike, when they had the top 50 greatest players ever, and Wilt told him, he said, you know, they changed the rules for you to benefit you. They changed the rules for me to hinder me. People need to go back and research. People used to be able to double hand check in the 60s. And people think that this era is the fastest pace of basketball, excuse me. The 60s was actually the fastest pace of basketball. Wilt Chamberlain was playing like, remember his 48 minutes in the game? Wilt was playing like all 48 minutes. So people talk about that 100-point, was that mess legit? It was. People had to understand, like, the media and stuff was different. You know, people did stuff like you could look up the radio broadcast. People did most of the stuff from the radio back then. They did some stuff from TV, but most TVs were still black and white, and it was still like, it was new at the time. You know, they did more newspapers and more radio stuff. I'm not gonna talk about his average, how he averaged 50 points a game, 25 freaking rebounds. It was like Bill Russell. Bill Russell had a great team. He had 11 Hall of Famers. Bill Russell was great defensively. He did not have an offensive bag like that. Wilt did. And them dudes was men back then, so you couldn't do what Shaq was doing in the 90s where you just punking dudes. You had to pay for it. You did that crap, and you was probably going to the hospital, and the ref's not going to help you. Wilt had that little turnaround, fade away, bank shot off the glass. This dude was, they got footage of him shooting hook shots from the three-point line. They were still trying to recruit him in the 80s when he was in his 50s to come back to the NBA. That's how much they respected Wilt, his game, his talent, all that stuff, his impact. So, man, people just, all I say is people need to do their research. Be a student of the game. Just because something's new, it don't mean it's better. As a little young as I understand. Wilt was doing that stuff in little Chuck Taylors and Converse. You fast forward him, you put Wilt in this era, you put him with medical technology, new shoes, all that stuff, but he got that same ability, work ethic. Man, he bodying these Bammers. Bodying them, y'all. So yeah, I got Will Chamberlain number 3. The only reason why I got him at 3 is because championships do play a factor in it, and he only got 2. Even though that wasn't all his fault, I've seen it was certain games where he would. It was I remember it was one game in particular where he was playing the Knicks, I think in 1970, to where he kind of like they said he got hurt and the coach was mad at him because he said he wasn't really hurt. He kind of like quit. It was like a mental thing. But I mean, you want to talk about dominant force, premier athlete ahead of his time, like yeah, Will Chamberlain, man. Number 4, woo, I got. Oh, this is tough. That's when I got to probably put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because he won on every level, like high school, college, NBA. He got 6 championships too, just like Mike. He had a couple of Finals MVPs. You know what I mean? They when he was in college, they banned dunking. He was that dominant the way they said you can't dunk. His IQ was so great, and he was doing martial arts at the time, so his balance was good. He said, you know what, let me come up with this. I know if I got my shoulder in and, I separate them from the basket and I get my release with my wingspan, I got a shot that can't stop me in the skyline. Man, it's not pretty and it don't look all fancy. That's why a lot of youngins don't really incorporate that in their game. But to me, it says a lot about his IQ and the fact that he literally won on every level. Every level. He's the one guy I've always said to where if they said from a statistical standpoint, it was like, well, I think Kareem's the greatest of all time over Jordan. I wouldn't be upset. I would disagree, but I wouldn't be upset because I could see where they're coming from. If you're actually a student of the game, you know what I'm saying? With that said, Kareem did benefit from playing with Magic Johnson. That literally extended his career. Playing with Magic. Because after, I want to say, 85, he was, I don't want to say done, but he wasn't the same guy. He could have moments, but you take Magic from that Lakers team, he's not getting 6 championships. And from another thing, I'm going to say it again. I remember T-Mac saying, it's the truth. When we go, well, Kobe, I'm going back to Kobe. And Kobe, oh, he got 5 rings because he played with Shaq. And don't nobody be saying Magic got 5 rings because he played with Kareem. Great players win ships. You have to go back and look. Shaq wasn't beating San Antonio without Kobe. Them games on the road that them Lakers was playing, Kobe was the man for them teams. Not to mention when the clutch. Yeah, but again, let me go back to Kareem. I can go back. I remember when I was a little kid and I was living in DC and I told you about the 90s. And they'd be like, people on the court like Jordan. Like nowadays, people shoot the little shot in the little trash can. They'd be like, Kobe. Y'all got that from the Dave Chappelle skit when he shot the condom in the trash can when he was dealing with the chick. I know where y'all Bama's got that from. But I remember when I was a little kid in DC, I remember Bama's used to they used to emulate the skyhook on the court, and folks would be like, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They would do like the motion of the skyhook where they go, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Excuse me. But that's how far back I go. You know what I mean? I'm unk status now. But yeah, I got Kareem at number 4. Number 5 is tough. Well, but because it's between 2 players. But number 5, I got Magic. I got Magic Johnson. That was the first basketball post I had on my wall as a kid. It's like Magic goes coast to coast. That first NBA Finals in '91, when the Lakers was playing the Bulls, I was going for Magic and the Lakers. I was riding with Mike. It was annoying to me that all of a sudden out of the blue, everybody got Bulls starter coach. Y'all Bama's wasn't saying nothing the year before. Now everybody's a Bulls fan. Like I told you, if everybody go right, I go left. Where everybody goes left, I go right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a follower. I'm a leader. So I'm like, I was rocking with Magic. You know, not to mention like I love the way he played the game. Like to this day, he's the best leader. I'm just talking about floor general leader that the game of basketball has ever seen. That's over Jordan, that's over Kobe, that's over Steph, whoever you, LeBron, most definitely, whoever you name. His style of play was infectious. Like he had he put a certain energy on that basketball when he passed him. Where folks, they wanted to do their thing. And Magic, like I said, he was kind of like, everybody eats. Not getting on the stage. His showboating was with the dribbling and the passing. He let his boys get the points, unless when necessary. Then he scored. And again, 5 chips. And I think what was that 11 seasons? What he came? He came in like what 80, and he had to retire in 91. 5 chips, 11 seasons. Come on, man. Like, bro, like he extended Kareem's career. The reason why y'all know people like Byron Scott, Michael Cooper. I'm not gonna say James Worthy because James Worthy had talent on his own, but he did enhance. Everybody, I put it to you like this: when people talk about, oh, he makes players better, or makes Magic Johnson was the epitome of a player that made players around him better. Nobody else did that to that level of making players better than Magic. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my top 5. I got Jordan number 1. I got Kobe Bryant number 2. I have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar number 3. I'm sorry. I have Wilt Chamberlain. Forgive me. I have Wilt Chamberlain, Wilton Norman Chamberlain number 3. I have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar number 4. And I have Magic Johnson number 5. I'll continue the rest of my top 10 later. Those are my top 5. And I told you my top 5 in hip hop. So like I said, I just wanted to do things, on a lighter note. My future podcast, I'm gonna talk about video games as well. And comedy, that's a part of it, man. Hey, look, the video games keep you out of trouble. Help you save money. You know what I mean? I got a young son. Plus, my brother is a gamer. I got the 2 TV set up. I got this joint like a little sports bar. I'm gonna have the joint set up. You're gonna see the video games going in the background. And like I said, I've been playing them since my childhood. So like I said, I touch on every subject, it's not even on a serious note. Sometimes it could be on a fun note. Like I said, it's almost sports games. I talk about things from a political perspective. I touch on politics. I'm gonna say that for later. Talk about relationships, things, as men, as far as being fathers, and being husbands to a certain extent as well. I don't want to touch on that too much because I'm not a husband. I am a single father though. But what I can do is touch on what qualities I believe that will make you to be a good husband. Because what the scriptures say, what the word of God says, where they talk about, husbands love your wives as Christ loved the church. And basically what that means is Christ died for the church. So we know as men, if it goes down, you putting your life on the line for your family, for your wife first and foremost, for your kids. Like you the first line of defense. And that's what a lot of these women don't understand, man. Like, heavy is the head that wears the crown. With great power comes great responsibility. The men that get it respect to them. But, like I said, something like breaking in your joint 3 a.m, you got your shorty with you. She ain't answering that door. She looking at you. You got to handle your business. That comes with, the territory. And that's one of the qualities, of course, of being a guy. I don't want to digress too much. But I just wanted to give you an idea on what my page and some of the things that I'm going to be talking about. And like I said, this is just the beginning because this is just me. I got 3 other guys that I'm going to be meeting with later today. And, we're going to be setting up page, whether it be through this page, my page, or we're going to set up a separate page where you're going to hear their perspectives. And I'm going to be a part of it as well. But again, this is not just about me. It's just somebody has to get the ball rolling. Why not me? I thank you for your time. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to press like. Again, this is only the beginning. This video is the purpose. That's the purpose, man. I used to watch Rap City back in the day, and it was like, he said, leave it up to me while I be living proof to kick the truth to the young black youth. Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? To enlighten, to motivate, and to inspire. Much respect.